circulatory system. And to start the lesson off, I'm going to play a sound, and I want to see if y'all can identify what the sound is.
It's a beating heart.
That's an awesome sound. It's a heartbeat. And that's a good idea. That's where I was going to go with it. It's one of the most important sounds. It's one of the most important sounds of our life. It's our heart beating. It's the first sound your parents hear you make in the womb. So we're learning about the circulatory system. And when you think circulatory, think of circle. It's one big circle. Okay? Does anybody know the purpose of the circulatory system?
Pump blood.
Pumps the blood. Now, why does it pump the blood? To keep us alive. Good job. Exactly. The purpose of the circulatory system is to transport blood throughout the body and get oxygen to our vital organs. Okay? Because all of our organs need oxygen. Alright, there are three main places that our blood is traveling throughout our body that we're going to focus on today. There's lots of places, but today we're going to focus on three main places. We're going to go to the heart, which is the pump. Its purpose is to pump blood throughout our body. And then it's going to go to the lungs. The purpose of the lungs is to supply oxygen to our blood cells and get rid of carbon dioxide. And the third place is our vital organs. Can anybody name me a vital organ?
Kidneys.
Liver, kidneys, good job. And these take oxygen and give back carbon dioxide. Alright, so how do we get carbon dioxide and oxygen in and out of our body? It is transported with red blood cells, also called erythrocytes. And I have a little friend here today. He is a red blood cell, and he's going to help me out a little bit later. But he is an erythrocyte. And here's his picture. They are carriers of oxygen and carbon dioxide. And oxygen. Alright, so how do these little red blood cells get to our kidneys and to our brains and other parts of our body? Through pathways called blood vessels. Okay? They're the ones that are going to help transport our blood cells. There are three main types of blood vessels that we're going to focus on today, and these are going to be very important, so make sure you're paying attention. The first type are arteries. Arteries are always going to carry our blood away from our heart, okay? So artery and away. Think of those together. And then you're going to have veins. Veins do the opposite. They're carrying our blood back to our heart. And the third type are going to be capillaries. Capillaries are actually arteries that branch out and become very, very thin, so that the little tiny red blood cells actually have to go one by one through the capillaries. And this allows for gas exchange, which is the switching of carbon dioxide and oxygen in our blood vessels. Alright, so to start off the cycle today, we're going to pretty much go through the whole thing of starting with the heart and where exactly our blood cells go. So we're going to start off with the heart. The heart has four main chambers. You're going to have the right atrium, the right ventricle, the left atrium, and the left ventricle. Okay, and that sheet that I gave y'all with the picture of the heart on it, I want y'all to take that, and as I go throughout the lesson, if I show you a structure, I want you to try to find it on your picture and identify it and write it as I go.
Okay.
Alright, so here's the picture. We have the right atrium up at the top. You have the right ventricle down at the bottom. Left atrium up here, and the left ventricle down here. Now these are obviously very similar, and so are those, because they have very similar purposes. Alright, so we're going to now follow the journey of our red blood cell. So we're going to start off in the right atrium. I have a picture of it here so you can see where I'm talking about as I go through. Okay? After our red blood cell arrives at our right atrium, he's going to get pumped. The right atrium is going to fill up with a whole bunch of these. Once it's full, it's going to contract. Once it contracts, all of our blood is going to get shot out of the right atrium. It's going to go through this valve. I don't know if y'all can see it. This little white valve right here. It's called the tricuspid valve. It's going to get shot through that valve and into our right ventricle. And once the right ventricle fills up with blood, just like the atrium did, it's too going to contract, and it's going to go through, there's a little valve right here called the pulmonary valve. Before I go any further, I'm going to do a little vocabulary lesson. Pulmonary means lung. Okay, if y'all can remember that. Pulmonary means lungs. So anytime I talk about pulmonary anything, it's referring to something to do with the lungs. So we have the pulmonary valve, which leads to the pulmonary artery, meaning it's going to the lungs. Okay? So this is an artery, and who can tell me what the artery is? What kind of blood vessel is? What's its purpose?
Moves blood away.
She takes blood away from the heart, and it's taking it to the lungs. Now, all of this blood that is in this side of the heart so far that we've gone over, does it have a lot of oxygen or a little bit if it's going to the lungs? Not a lot. It has a lot if it's going to the lungs?
No, a little bit.
It would have very little bit because the purpose of going to the lungs is to get oxygen. So it's called deoxygenated. It's high in carbon dioxide and low in oxygen. Alright, so we're going to do a little simulation here. So we have our little red blood cell. He pops in at our right atrium. He's going to flow through that tricuspid valve and down into the right ventricle. It's going to fill up. It's going to contract. It's going to get shot through that pulmonary valve and into the pulmonary artery. Alright? So now it's going through the pulmonary arteries, and you can see right here this artery, it actually branches off. That's because it's taking it to each of the lungs. You have two sides to your lungs. So that's branching off to take it to your lungs. So now we're in the lungs. Now, once the red blood cell reaches the lungs, gas exchange occurs. That's important to remember, gas exchange. Who can tell me what they think that means?
It's where oxygen changes to carbon dioxide, or carbon dioxide changes to oxygen.
Right, they're exchanging one another. So we have our red blood cell, and there's our lungs, and he has lots of carbon dioxide. He is going to give it over to the lungs. Lungs is going to take it, and they're going to give oxygen back. So when the lungs is taking your carbon dioxide, you're breathing out. And when you're getting oxygen, you're breathing in. And he's now going to have lots of oxygen. He's happy. He's oxygen rich. Alright, so we're in the lungs now, and gas exchange has occurred. Now he's going to go back. He's traveling back to your heart because he needs to go out to our body to transfer the oxygen that he's just collected, correct? So he needs to get back to the heart so he can get pumped. So what kind of blood vessel is he going to take?
Vein.
He's going back to the heart. A vein, correct. Good job. So it's called because it's from the lungs, it's the pulmonary veins. And he's going to go down into the left atrium. This is very similar to what we did on the other side. It's going to go into the left atrium. The left atrium is going to fill up with blood. It's going to contract, and it's going to shoot it through this valve over here, called the bicuspid valve. And it's going to go down into our left ventricle. The left ventricle is going to fill up. It's going to contract. It's going to go through the aortic valve and into the aorta. Okay? So this is going to be your aorta right here. Now, once again, if we're going to review our blood vessels again, because I'm going to get y'all to remember these. If the blood is now leaving the heart and going to the body, what kind of blood vessel is it? Away from the heart.
Artery.
Artery. Good job. Okay. And the aorta is actually the biggest artery in the whole body because it has to take blood everywhere. So it's taking a lot of blood. So it is a very big blood vessel. And our blood vessels have lots of oxygen right now. So they are very oxygenated. Yep. They're high in oxygen and low in carbon dioxide. Alright, here's our simulation again. They're coming back. Our little blood vessels are coming back through the pulmonary veins. They're coming in to the left atrium, and they're going to get shot through that bicuspid valve right here. It's a little bit bigger so you can see it. These little white strings. And it's going to get shot down into the left ventricle. Contracts. Send it through the pulmonary valve, or the aortic valve, and up into the aorta. And there's your aorta. So make sure you're writing down which structures are which as we go. Alright, so now it's in the aorta. He's traveling out to the body. Here's a little picture of the aorta. You can see how it branches down here. It's actually going to branch a lot of places. And it's to become smaller arteries so that we can take them all throughout the body. They're eventually going to all of your vital organs. You can see you've got your eyes, your liver, your brain, your kidneys. There's lots of places. Your skin is considered a vital organ as well. Alright, so now we're in the vital organs. Our blood cell has traveled there. And we're going to have the same process that happened in the lungs. Gas exchange occurs. But this time, it's in reverse. Our vital organs are going to take our oxygen from our blood cells, and they're going to give back the carbon dioxide. They don't want it. It's considered trash to them. So we have our red blood cell and our liver. He has lots of oxygen. He's going to donate it over to your liver. The liver is going to give back its CO2 to your red blood cell. Alright, so he's journeying back to the heart now. If our red blood cell is going back to the heart, what kind of blood vessel is he going to take?
Vein.
Good job, the vein. Y'all are quick. So he's traveling back. He's got his carbon dioxide he's picked up from the vital organs. And he's going back through smaller veins, and eventually they become a much bigger vein called the vena cava. Now there are two parts to the vena cava. You have the superior vena cava or the inferior vena cava. If you are a red blood vessel and you are coming from your little toe down at your feet, what side of that vena cava do you think you're going to take?
Inferior.
Right, because it's coming from the bottom. But if you're a red blood vessel in the brain, which one do you think you're going to take?
Superior.
Good job. Y'all are quick. Alright, so our simulation, we have our superior vena cava up here at the top. And then you have your inferior vena cava down here at the bottom, and you see how they both connect into your right atrium. So you're starting back where we began. So we have our red blood vessels going down or going up, and they're back into your right atrium. Alright, we're going to do a little review. See if y'all can help me remember what are the steps to your circulatory system. Where's the first place we went today?
Right atrium.
Good job, right atrium. Alright, so once the right atrium fills up with blood and is shot through the tricuspid valve, where's the next place we went? The right ventricle. Good job. Alright, and after the right, my bad, fast. after the right ventricle, which blood vessel are we taking?
Pulmonary artery.
Good job. What does pulmonary mean?
Lungs.
Good job. Pulmonary artery. Woo. And then I'm going to ask myself, I'm going to give y'all the answers. Alright, if you're going from the pulmonary artery, which means lungs, where's it taking it?
Lungs.
To the lungs. Yep, that was not a trick question. Once you're in the lungs, you see that this is blue because it's deoxygenated. It doesn't have a lot of oxygen. This is purple because gas exchange happens here. I want y'all to remember that. And then you have the pulmonary vein after you leave the lungs and come back to the heart. So we're back at the heart now. Where is the next place that vein leads into?
The lungs. Oh.
Left atrium. Correct. Because we're
Back
going
at
to
the heart.
back
Okay.
out into the body. Left atrium, and then it goes down into the... Oh, you're getting real fancy over here. Yes. Down into the left ventricle. Through the... Which valve? No, it's going to be the aortic valve. It's going to go through the aortic valve into the aorta. Good job.
There you go.
And after it leaves the aorta, it's going out into the vital organs.
Yeah.
What happens in the vital organs? Gas exchange. It's which gases are the vital organs picking up?
Oxygen.
And they're giving off?
Carbon dioxide.
Good job. All right. Ooh, and I did it again. All right. And so after they leave the vital organs, it's going back to the heart. And the biggest vein it's going to take back to the heart are either the superior or the inferior vena cava. Correct. And back into the right atrium. As you can see, it's one big circle. All right. We want to revisit this concept of a heartbeat. I want y'all to listen closely at this again. How many beats are there in a heartbeat?
2.
Bump, 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 bump. Love, dub, love, dub. It's kind of what we say. It makes that kind of sound. Alright? The heartbeat has 2 different beats. You have the love and the dub sound. Why? Does anybody know why?
Because when stuff's coming in and going out.
Okay, how do you make this stop making that noise?
Just hit mute.
Hit mute.
Just hit mute.
Work better.
Is it the valves opening and closing?
Good job! But yes, that is correct. It makes that sound because all those valves that we talked about are opening and closing. Alright? So, in between the atria and the ventricles, if you remember in that picture that you have, there were valves. You had the bicuspid valve or the tricuspid valve. When they open and close, it makes one noise. And the other valves that you have between the ventricles and either the aorta or the other ventricle and your pulmonary artery, those are another set of valves that work together. And so when those open and close, they make separate noises. Alright, so when the valves close between the atria and the ventricles, they make that lub sound. That's the first sound you hear. It's called systole. Okay? And when the valves close between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, or the left ventricle and the aorta, this makes the dub sound. That's known as diastole. Alright, and we have a little simulation so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This was supposed to play immediately. It's loading. It can be on mute, that's fine. Why is it playing? It says playing video, that's not right. We can go without the simulation. I'll just show you exactly what I'm talking about. So these are the first set of valves I was talking about. You have your tricuspid and your bicuspid valve. That's the first noise. So when these close, they open and close between contractions, that's going to be your first noise. That's the systole we were talking about, the bum to the lub to your dub, if you will. And then in between here, it's not really in the right view. This is a valve right here, and on the other side of the aorta is another set of valves. When they close, that's the dub. So, sure, it says playing video. Oh well, we'll just make it. And that's the second. So that's going to be your heartbeat and also your cardiac cycle. So I'm going to have an activity right now that we're going to do. I need 10 people. 10 people to come up here right now.
That's what I expect.
I know.
Take one. Alright, I want y'all to start putting yourselves in order. Yeah. I got 2 more. I need 2 more volunteers. One. I guess we're on the other end. Alright.
Is this video? It's been cutting you off sometimes because it's lower than what I wanted it to be.
You're over there? There you go. Put yourselves in order. One's going in and one's going out, right? Right in between us. We're light, right? I'll see. Yeah, I guess I'm making on this side. You also back and forth. Yeah. Alright, we're making progress. Alright, y'all look good. I'm going to give you our little red blood cell here, and I want you to take him and pass him along, and I want you to say your part as you go, so we can help review.
Right ventricle.
Pulmonary artery.
Lungs.
Pulmonary vein.
Left atrium.
Left ventricle.
Aorta.
Vital organ. Thank you, and then you connect back over to
Right atrium.
good job. Thank you very much. Yay. All right. Thank you. All right, guys. So we've reviewed a lot today, and to finish it off, I'm going to ask you a couple questions just to see if y'all have a full grasp of our concepts here. So, what are the 3 main kinds of blood vessels?
Arteries.
Veins.
Veins and
Capillaries.
capillaries. Right. Good job. All right. What are the 4 chambers of the heart?
Right. Right atrium. Right ventricle. Left atrium and left ventricle.
Good job. And what is the blood cell's main job? To carry gas. To carry
Gas.
oxygen and
Or
carbon
carbon.
dioxide through the body. Correct. Now, on the bottom of your anatomy of heart sheet that I gave you, there are some questions. I want y'all to answer those for homework, and you can use your chart set. Y'all should fill this out during class. I want y'all to use that to help you figure out what's here at the bottom. And if you want extra credit, if you color it using red or blue, depending on if it's oxygenated or not, you'll get some extra points. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Pass this one.